Hello, my name is Joon Lee, and my presentation will be based on should cyberstalking be considered a serious crime? Now, let's delve into the background. Without a doubt, technology and the internet have permanently shaped the daily activities of millions of people, including how they socially interact and communicate with others. Such technologies can include computers, smartphones, and social media. Technology has especially produced new opportunities to meet new people, create a network, personal or professional, and encounter new situations. But unfortunately, at the same time, technology has also provided new means for criminal activities and victimization. And one primary example would be cyberstalking. So one can say that technology has made it much more easier for stalkers to stalk their victims. Here is my answer. Despite being an act mainly done through internet or electronics, I believe that cyberstalking should definitely be considered a serious crime that the government needs to seriously address more. Now, what is cyberstalking? Cyberstalking can be defined as the use of the internet, email, and other electronic communication devices, computer or phone, to repeatedly monitor, harass, threaten, or intimidate someone. Here are the examples, such as unwanted phone calls, voice messages, or text messages. It's even worse when they're being spammed to you. Receiving threatening or obscene emails, getting verbal harassment, threats slash false accusations in blogs, chat rooms, or social media. A stalker can even trace someone's computer and internet activity to actually discover someone's current location with a GPS tracker. And of course, one can blackmail the victim with personal sensitive information or photos regarding that victim. And yes, it should be a serious crime because cyberstalking can affect every victim of all age, race, gender, religion, and sexual orientation, including male, female, adolescents, young adults, and even the elderly. Here are the basic statistics provided by the SaveHome.org. Around 7.5 million people experience cyberstalking. Wow. And 61% of cyberstalkers use common communication message/devices such as smartphones, text messaging, and email. Around 41% of undergraduate students experience cyberstalking. 16% of cyberstalking victims ranging from 18 to 24 years old stated that their stalkers shared sexually explicit photos/videos of them without consent. Around 10% of Americans had a personal GPS device hacked/tracked into their system without their consent. So here are the pro arguments arguing why cyberstalking should be a serious crime in the first place. Cyber stalking has negatively affected a victim's mental and physical health. Victims have shown to exhibit fear, anxiety, PTSD, lack of sleep, fatigue, headaches, and nausea. The study of German social network users who have been victimized by cyberstalking, shows that around 80% of victims felt general feelings of inner unrest. Over 68% felt mistrust towards others. 64% had sleep disorder. Half of victims felt feelings of helplessness, anger, aggression, and they even experienced headache, depression, and panic attacks. According to the Texas Crime Victimization Survey, victims reported headaches or stomach aches, eating problems, disorders, had nightmares of greatly difficulty in sleeping, and engaged in increased alcohol and drug use. There's nothing inherently wrong with consuming alcohol or legal drugs, but overconsumption can seriously negatively harm their overall lifestyle. Cyberstalking is capable of negatively affecting one's academic, work, and social life. Here is what the cyberstalking victims have answered in their Texas Crime Victimization Survey. In terms of academics for students like college undergraduates, they had difficulty concentrating during class, on assignments, or during exams. They had missed deadlines, assignments, exams. They have dropped classes, receive extremely low grades, and even consider about dropping school. In terms of work, which pretty much also affects one's financial life as well, victims had difficulty concentrating on work. They have missed work or either quit or got fired from their own job. Also, in terms of social life, cyberstalking has also, pretty much harmed relationships with other people and affected one's overall lifestyle. Victims have isolated oneself from friends or families, engaged in increased fights with friends or family, exhibited loss of interest in daily activities, and engaged in increased alcohol and drug use even. The reason why cyberstalking has such a negative impact on finances is because, cyberstalking victims face financial burdens of having to pay for increasing their security against stalkers, moving out to avoid their stalkers in the area, and then receiving therapy and counseling for their, to help treat their mental health problems. Bureau statistics even reveal that 1 in 6 victims of stalking victims sought for victim services, and more than 60% of stalking victims obtain counseling or therapy. Cyberstalking is capable of eventually leading to real-life physical and sexual violence. There have been certain degree of cases when online stalking has transitioned to traditional stalking involving physical violence, which can include of victims being grabbed or held down by the perpetrator, being hit by hand, or even attacked by objects. In fact, women and girls have been especially victimized by technological facilitated sexual violence. For example, young women have been subjected to sexting, where they have been pressured or coerced by their male partners into sending sexually explicit images of themselves. Women and girls have been victimized by revenge porn, which included non-consensual distribution of intimate online images of engaging in uncomfortable sexual intercourses/activities. So even though these women and girls are simply, sending news of themselves through online, they're still being forced to strip down and expose their private body parts to other people, which can be considered as non-consensual sexual harassment, domestic violence, and sexual rape. When it comes to the con arguments, it's not that the U.S. does not criminalize, nor are they ignorant of the crime cyber stalking that needs to be addressed. It's just that cyber stalking is a crime that is far more difficult to approach or tackle than one previously thought. Cyber stalkers are just far more difficult for researchers and policymakers to study, find, and trace more than traditional stalkers are. Cyberstalking tends to be very elusive, which pretty much kind of undermine the effectiveness of civil protection orders. Cyberstalkers are pretty much elusive is because everyone has a right to use the internet, and they have the right to message, communicate with other people. So then that makes it difficult for the law enforcement agency to truly determine whether a crime is being committed or not. Compared to traditional stalking, cyberstalking is typically an under-researched topic. There is a serious lack of consistency among behaviors criteria and measures for clearly defining the term cyberstalking. Cyberstalking is rather a broad term with no single clear definition. So then it pretty much affects the reliability/credibility of the research and survey conducted on cyberstalking, and pretty much the victim's report/statement of their crimes and victimization. Probably due to lack of clarity and consistency for studying cyberstalking, some states do not properly address cyberstalking because they fail to find specific distinctions between traditional stalking and cyberstalking. So then the real problem is that the lack of clear studying cyberstalking makes it harder for the U.S. government to implement a serious federal law penalizing, criminalizing, and punishing cyberstalking. And finally, the sources that I used to validate my arguments, and then try to, think of what the opposing view would say. Thank you for watching.